Hey folks, Quilly King here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Football Manager 2018. We're playing as Portsmouth, and we've got a home game today. But before we get to any of that, let's take a moment to talk about some of these transfers I've been hunting over here. A lot of people really made some comments. We do have a very heavy loaner team. It might be a little hard to see the light blue versus the white. I kind of wish there were slightly more distinctive colors over here. But Walks, Desland, O'Keefe, Ronan, Kennedy, Henderson, these are all loaners over here. So it's not something we can really count on to develop our team long term. And we do have a handful of somewhat older fellows. I mean, one of the good examples would certainly be Brett Pittman, who is an excellent player. But, you know, at 29, I thought we had a 35 years old. And actually, I think we may do. 29 is not bad. So he's just a little older maybe for a striker. So he's got plenty of years left over here. There must have been someone else I was thinking of, and I don't know who that is at some point. I mean, we could filter it somewhere over in the squad for age, but anyway, I really do like the idea of developing a lot of younger people for the future. So I've been doing some more hunting around here for some people and picking up kind of a lot of semi-blind free transfer youths over here. Mateus Batista was one of the persons who wasn't. I mean, at 22, technically he still falls partially under the youth banner for certain mechanics in this game, but a little older, and we didn't get him over there. He's more established. So a lot of these guys, I don't actually know how good they're necessarily going to be, but because I didn't even do a full scout, but like I'm just doing some filtering. Like we don't have a real scouting report on this guy, but take a look. His acceleration, 15 to 20, pace 10 to 16. I normally shop, I look for people with high natural fitness is a good one as well. We don't have that info, but I was just doing that and I was like, I don't even want to wait long enough for it to be fully scouted. I'm worried that what happens if someone else snags him up in the meantime. With a stamina of only 10, it might be a little harder to get the sort of, I think, the travel distance that the inverted forward might require, but I think it's going to be okay. And, you know, at 17, there's plenty of time to develop plenty of attributes. I don't know how locked in the physical attributes are from youth. I know that, like, the mental and technical abilities really develop over time, but look at his determination as well. That's insane. I don't like his low work rate. I think there's something we can do about that with talking to him. If we criticize his training, I think it might be able to boost up his work rate. So that's one of the things we're going to look for once he potentially joins the team. Although I think he's still thinking about it. And I think these guys have a lot of, that's the other reason I kind of knew that they're probably pretty strong, is a lot of people are making offers at them. So that's the other reason I'm not waiting. I don't want them to get locked into someone else. That would be terrible. Yeah, this fellow over here, Ollie Ware, who's English as well. And you can see here, not the paciest, but very accelerating. Good balance. If we can get his agility up as well, and assuming we can train up his dribbling, which is really poor, he might be a really good person to beat the defenders. So he might not be able to currently dribble past a defender with the ball, but there's lots of time to teach him that. He might be a good one for us to work into a sort of pass into space kind of thing, right? Pass the ball ahead of him, let his acceleration beat the defender, then pick up the ball and try to do something. Free kick taking is kind of insane. His first touch is really low. Yeah, I don't really know what his specifics are, and I don't know how trainable he's going to be, but again, there's a lot of teams that are sort of contending with him, so I assume that means he's probably a fairly strong pick. Daniel Naylor, I don't know how many of these we're going to get, but we're going to hope. And you can see here, acceleration, pace. I mean, 12 isn't super speed, but it's pretty good. Low strength, he's going to have a hard time muscling through, because I'm looking for extra options for some of these attacking midfielder positions. And here, we only know about his right, and remember that the inverted forward actually plays opposite foot here, so we don't know if he's ineffectual or not. We actually don't know how good he is playing on the other side. Maybe I'm picking up a lot of people who are going to be good standard wingers and nothing else. But again, there might be a lot of time to just train these guys up and follow that up. We don't need to get them all. We only need to get one. I mean, if we get a couple and then we find out through training which one really has potential, and assuming we get one good one, that's going to be great. Also looking for a bit more of another attacking striker, because that's one of the places where we're a little bit weak on our team. If we go to team report, squad depth over here, and not best role. Currently selected roles for tactics. Advanced forward over here. Scouting for first. Oh yeah, that's right. I've got an assignment out to scout for a first team advanced forward type person over here, or front nine would also be, front nine, false nine type role. Really not a heck of a lot going on. Connor Chaplin is really not as developed, and he is actually on contract at least. He's not on a loan. Yeah, he's actually here. It's quite pricey. That's the other thing with these young folks. He's got some potential, but I don't think he's ever going to be a superstar. But he's got that sort of speed. He's got a half-decent first touch and a half-decent finishing that we can play that. He actually plays fairly well as the attacking midfielder as well, which I think is going to be nice. But yeah, I am training him as this false nine. I think it is going to be a slightly better role to work within our team to have the front false nine as opposed to advance forward. So I'm hunting for options over there. And if we go back here, Eamon Quigg, who is Irish over here, Northern Irish, might be another potential. Look at this acceleration, 13 to 20. I mean, it feels like a lot of times when the number range is like that, it turns out he's actually just a 13. But it's pretty, I don't know what this aggression means in the context of a forward. Does not necessarily reflect player dirtiness, but their willingness to get stuck in, perhaps at the expense of giving away more fouls. He might play like as a defensive forward, which might be an interesting addition. We'll have to see exactly how that goes. We'll also have to see exactly where his strength is. If his strength turns out to be low, then tackling's probably not going to be quite as strong, and his ability to muscle past defenders might be low. But if he ends up with a fairly high strength, like he's not that tall, we don't know, his jumping reach probably won't be that great. His heading skill's a little bit higher, though, which is nice. I still don't think we're going to be playing him as sort of target man and necessarily floating passes in, but it's someone who might be in a half decent spot to try to take on some of these some of the corner kicks, or even just sort of like there's all kinds of passes and crosses. They're not particularly high, but you can still sort of like head in, because some of them just come in at like head height. You don't necessarily have to beat someone to it. So yeah, he might not be able to compete against someone else defending against the header, but if he's alone and the ball is quite high, he might be able to head it in without having to require a lot of jumping reach. So we'll see. Stamina I don't think is going to be as critical whether we play him attacking forward or false nine. I don't know he's going to need to run that much, but this acceleration again is that potential for that pass into space kind of style that we may be developing in our final third over here. Determination could be very high as well, which is very important. His work rate could be very high, which I'm super pumped for. Again, we have no idea. That could be anywhere within that. I don't know how it determines this in terms of is he going to be somewhere in the middle? I don't think so. I think he's got just as much of a chance of being one versus the other. I think his true value will be say 10, and then what they do is they roll like a 10-sided die and then offset it by that much, or whatever it is. I don't think it's statistically more likely to be in the middle. This offset here really can be anywhere in that range with I think equal amounts of weight. So we'll see. His stamina could be very poor, and again, I don't know how well the physical stats develop over time. If he's got a really poor stamina, that may weaken his goal of us having a really stupendous star striker, but we'll see. So we made some bids here. These are all going to be 2 or 3 year contracts. Even if we don't end up using them, if they end up being half decent in general, even if it's not within our system, we may be able to flip them for a decent profit. So hopefully something that will happen. If we take a look at what has happened between this video and the last one, we did have our second round of the Caraibo Cup over here, where we got obliterated by West Brom. I didn't show this match because I was pretty sure that's what was going to happen. We're talking a Premier League team over here, well above our striking distance, or I don't know what you would want to call it. If we take a look at the comparison over here, hopefully we still have an meh. That's no. I want to compare it with me. Is it team report? How do I compare it to me? That used to be a thing that I could do. It's probably, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, they must crush us in terms of value of their players and, general skill on paper. So that we did get obliterated. Face late pressure to finalize Eric Leon. Yeah, he's one of the ones we just looked at, right? The Norwegian, yeah, with the acceleration and the pace. That'll be interesting. I think we looked at this guy. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's someone else. But this pace is very interesting, a very high top speed. In my mind, that's not really something as much we need there. I wonder if there's any chance that he can play, if he can play every position along the right, this might be the sort of thing we're really looking for a wing back here. We don't know what kind of range, we don't know how retrainable he might be, but that, if he does roll really high on the pace, and if he has a half decent strength for the defensive kind of situation, he might be stupendous. His finishing's not that high. First touch is good. Passing, we don't know what it's going to be. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when all these folks join our team. We play against Wigan over here, who is sort of on par with us within our own league. We actually stomped them 2-0 away. If I recall correctly, this match, can I click on it to get some stats? They actually had higher possession and slightly more shots on goal. So we may have gotten slightly lucky with that. In terms of goal, we had player of the match, Burgess. Both of our goals were from our defenders over here. I think they may have both been from corner kicks over here. So there may have been a little bit of luck. It actually seems like it might have been more, I don't know, rightfully a 0-0 draw or something like that. So look, it's 9.2 rating from Mr. Burgess over there, who is a player on loan, Christian Burgess. A really solid player. 3.2k per week. I mean, it's basically fully developed, 25 years old. Lots of stats in the upper green numbers here. And you know what? I am going to go, I think I talked about this last time. I am going to go interface, skin colors. I'm going to change our excellent attribute threshold to 14. They're all 4 apart over here. I think that might better represent or reflect the strength of some of these stats given the league that we're in. So a strength of 14 is actually pretty substantial. Hell, I mean, all these numbers are so close. This guy's so solid, but yeah. We'll get back. Let's play a match, shall we? So today we are facing Charlton over here, who I believe had been predicted to come in something like, third. So, I mean, they're predicted to do fairly well in our league, in League One over here, but we're playing at home. We've been on kind of a, I mean, it's hard to say hot streak, but I don't know, 1 loss over here. The only loss. We've only failed to win 3. Now these draws in the regular league have been kind of frustrating, but it does mean that in league play we have no losses in 4 games. 2 wins, 2 draws in the league. So I'm kind of pleased with that. Let's go ahead and when continue. I'll probably have to double check our team selection. Oh, this is Emmanuel Cohen. Someone else I was talking to, I think I may have had to promise him something. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. There we go. We hadn't even started the talks. It was a thing I did right before starting this. French fella over here. Lots of bids on him. The promises, I mean, we just promised him, I think, like a youth contract or something, and promised him that I would give him extensive language training. We may have to throw a little bit of extra money at this guy to increase the odds that we get him, because I think he's being, I think there were a bunch, like 6 other teams bidding for him, and I think there were quite a few higher rep teams. And with skills like this, I'm willing to bet he's going for extremely high reputation team. This guy, it's showing him as a mid guy over here, but with these specs, I feel very unlikely that we couldn't make a great striker out of him. I don't know what his current comfort is, but we might be able to do that. We might be able to just make him as a shadow striker as well, which would be an interesting alternative to our system. But like, it's one of these things, I don't know if he'll fit in, but I was shopping for these like high physical stats, and this guy just stood out as, oh my god, he's a madman. He's not even that tall, 182, I think that's about 6 foot even. But huge jumping reach, and I think it has to do with just wonderful physicality. Pace might not be that high, but that doesn't really matter in this situation. This acceleration, which might be insane, is going to be hugely valuable. So we're going to go ahead and do that. He wants to be hot prospect. I'm going to certainly want to lock him into the longest possible contract that we can, because I think it's going to be a lot of like maybe flipping for more money over here. I think offering him these wage rises and promotion rises is a good idea. I can't bribe his agent. I am going to go and try to like sweeten the deal with, you know what, like 2,000 sign-on fee. And even though I could lower it down, I'm going to offer him like, I mean, what is this money to us? Really nothing. Let's really try to get this one by going quite a bit higher than the minimum. He does have an agent. Apparently we can't give an agent fee for this, but yeah. Okay. Take our time considering anything, get back to you. Yeah, he's really being looked at by a lot of teams, and I don't think his final decision will be based on actual pay. I think it'll be based on the reputation of the club that offers him something, but we'll see. And we just probably for a while stick him on the under 18s, hope he develops, and then like sell him for like $1 bajillion, or it'll turn out that he makes a great, false 9 or something. We'll see. All right, injuries are starting to bounce back a little bit, which is good. Match preview information over here. Inconsistent. They've been on decent form. Honestly, it feels like we've been in pretty standard form. Their preferred things. They have a bunch of players that are out. That might be good. Biggest strength is formation. Average of 3 more chances than their opponent, 90-minute games, using their 4-4-1-1. Potential weakness goals against. Drizzle and Breezy, I don't know if that's really going to make much of a change to us. It's possible that the pass into space will be a little less consistent. On the other hand, it's not like a pass into space is something that's delivered with really high accuracy. The very good pitch does make me think that a shorter passing game might be better, but the Drizzle, if you get a wit pitch, I think that sort of counteracts. I don't think we're going to make any real changes at this point. Our team is still really learning a lot of the skills that are being developed. You can actually see a little bit that our team coordination is getting better. Look, this entire triangle in the middle here, they have developed a good relationship. So they really understand. Can I not get a mouse over for this information? How do I get that? Okay, I can get that one. How do I get... There it is. Rose and O'Keefe, good partnership, generally play well together, and they're both well suited to their roles. That's good. Walks and Naismith, they're starting to understand each other. I think that on the other side, I don't tend to play Deland over here. I think Donahue tends to get played more, but I think there was a bit of concern about the conditions. We've been playing a lot back-to-back. Donahue's down to a 92 over here, so I've got him set up as a sub right now. So there's a lot of that going on where we may not be playing our mains quite as much. Connor Chaplin is wanted, and I don't blame them. Again, this is a younger kid with a lot of physical stats and maybe some good potential over there. And let me double check. We are training him, as that false 9, and he is really a natural in this position. And the false 9 skill has gotten a lot better, I think. If we take a look at this guy, it has gotten a lot stronger, and I think that's the sort of thing we're looking for here. I mean, he's still gonna have move into channels. The difference is he doesn't quite as far forward, and he isn't likely to dribble quite as much, more risky passes, which I think is what we want. I don't think we need necessarily another attacking-minded player over there, although I think he's got the potential to do it. I feel like this is going to work really nicely with the system. It's going to be really about getting these inside forwards a lot of sexy opportunities to do some crazy stuff. Inside forward, is that the right term? I keep flipping the terms around. Yeah, inside forward. Because it's like inverted winger. I think these are just like inverted wingers that are set higher, basically. So something like that. So yeah, Donahue, just out of curiosity, if I did put Donahue in here, now they haven't really developed that either. So possibly because we do tend to switch between, I think, Ronan and Kennedy a little bit. So there you have it. Some people still recovering a little bit from some of their injuries. That's really low sharpness. Brett Pittman, still not entirely sure how to fit him into this system, unfortunately, because we don't really need the attacking playmaker. I think I might be training him up. I'm training him up as a deep-lying playmaker back here. No, in the midfield, which I think is a great role for us to have if we do invert. If we put the ball-winning midfielders back, having a deep-lying playmaker here, or the box-to-box midfielder over here, although I don't think he's going to do as well as a box-to-box midfielder, because again, the sort of physicality and roaming of him, I think, is a little bit lower. He doesn't have, like, insane stamina, right? I mean, 11's not bad, but yeah, he's not that fast, not that accelerating, so having him parked back here as a playmaker might be the way to go. Or, I mean, he's already quite good as the advanced playmaker over here. Anyway, without further ado, I think we can get started. You can see that Rose over here is still having a hard time adjusting to the position role duty kind of situation over here within this tactic, which is a little frustrating. That being said, he's been averaging a 7.25 rating here. 7.25 is overall with 7.34 over his last 5 games. You can see Adelans hasn't been doing as well, but again, he's in here to replace Donahue just to give him a little bit of a breather, and maybe we can get him a little bit more experience in this position. We'll see how it goes. I don't actually know how long he's on loan for. Connor Chaplin hasn't been doing that strong, unfortunately, but he might do better as a false 9. So we're going to go ahead and submit this team, and I think that's going to be okay. We will proceed to the match. I guess I could probably turn off that show again in the future message. Oh my god, am I seriously 18 minutes in without starting the match? Still, I think this was really valuable discussion. I had fun with it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it over here. Some people suggested something like getting some face packs because I don't have faces for everyone, but, I don't know. Modding's hard work, isn't it? Something like that. Let's go into the dressing room. Most people reacted positively. Yeah, so I think these speeches are good. I like not having to micromanage that. I mean, sometimes it's the funnest part and sometimes not. I do like this initial setup. I feel like, I don't know what it is. It is these stadiums or something. I mean, maybe because I still have so much memory ingrained about playing in FM17, I do feel like things are like being really beautiful right now. Some of the camera angles that are happening, some of the lighting that's happening. Walks gets a pass over to Naismith, but Naismith, it was forcing back a little bit. Rose to O'Keefe. Like, that was a nice little play with that little center triangle. They play fairly close together. It's not a particularly wide triangle. It's sort of like a short passing game they developed. Burgess with a nice little tackle. Rose sends it far, far forward. I think just clearing it more than a sort of pass into place kind of thing. And I think that was a very worthwhile little clear, well played. Had some low conditions on the opposite team. I wonder if they're playing some freshly injured people or what's going on. I mean, I'm not the only one playing in a variety of different cup competitions right now, so I think a lot of people are being overworked, and it's not just me, which is good. There's Delon. I actually don't know where he's from. I don't know if I should say Desland. I'm parsing it as sort of like a French name, but I don't know. He's probably from London or something like that. I'll have to double check, although who knows where his family name is from. Ronan, new, fails to get the pass forward. They've got quite a good screen. I mean, they are playing the 4-4-1-1, which actually is going to give them... okay. Woo, but he can't actually get his hands on it properly, so it has to be cleared by one of our defenders. Luckily, there's a failed kick afterwards leading to a goal kick. I'm just going to double check. I think we're on extensive highlights, which, yeah, that's what I want over here. I do like a lot of them. Walks does get it up to Naismith, who's going to be a little hard-pressed to make a true move for it. Sort of just dumps it into the box. But you know what? Sometimes that will work. I'm not sure what else he could have done. He was covered in every possible direction here. This defensive structure that's happening, I don't know how we'd want to counter this play. Honestly, having our speedy people and the pass into space. There, see, you can see Chaplin's holding a little further back as this false nine. Oh, it just stopped raining. I'm wondering if we should play him as a back as the attacking forward, advanced forward, or whatever. AF striker role. Especially, you know what? I think the false nine is going to have potential against some things, but I think right here, I think we're going to have to count on him playing a little bit further forward. Yeah, I like it. That's how we're going to respond to what they're doing here. We're going to count on him playing a little further forward, and we'll just try to pass it over to him. The confirm changes button that I never remember to click. Usually I hit play and don't notice until like 10 minutes later that there's a button here that says confirm changes still. But I think that's going to be better. That looked a little dangerous. I mean, he hit shoot fast and therefore didn't get a lot of accuracy out of it, but I was a little concerned. Weird little blink there. Tactical changes have gone through. Can we get an offense going on again? And we're still on this sort of counter mentality. We actually, you know what? If they're playing, I mean, again, they are in theory a slightly higher rated team, but if they're playing a more defensive sort of structure, we actually might want to go more control-y. That would encourage our people to push up a little bit more and maybe give us a better opportunity for doing something. How are we doing overall? We've only gotten one shot on, despite the fact that we've got a possession advantage. I think that's exactly... Oh, we moved up to third. I think trying to move to control where we don't have as much familiarity... Wow, it really broke a lot of stuff here. Even though we are... We are doing control with some of our tactics, but... not necessarily... I think what we might have to do is make a copy of the 4-3-2-1 Regista, and then make a version of that with just control. Do I want to risk this? I mean, width goes down to competent. That's a massive change versus having everything fluid. Accomplished isn't terrible. Now, unless I do this and what? Do we remove the play-out defense? That's an idea. We could even go for a clear ball to flanks. I'm not sure that's entirely right. Remember, they will basically have two people on both flanks to defend, although if it's a counterattack, I'm not sure. I'm just going to make this change for now. But yeah, I think we're going to have to work on our training to be able to flip to a sort of control mentality. Oh, what Mo? What Mo? No! Header into the crossbar. Heartbreaking. We've got Deland over there picking up the ball. Deslandes. I'm just going to keep saying his name in more and more terrible ways. It's just like what Mo. I just kept butchering it until I found a way that I found kind of funny, and I'm just going to stick with that. Oh, thank you very much, everyone who reminded me that it's pronounced Rochdale. I remember now from playing the board game Brass. Yeah, Brass. It was last time this came up. There was that Rockdale or Rochdale, and I was like, how's it pronounced? And people told me it's Rochdale. Right, Roch. Mm-hmm. So that is going to be the end of the first half. Possessions in our favor. Shots not so much. And I do feel almost like moving up a little bit more would be the way, but I'm very leery to go and confuse things with the tactics. But maybe, you know what? I think I will try control for a little bit. The combination of high potential and low shots make me feel like this might be the right thing. Of course, this might cause us to leak a goal the other way, but I feel like this is vaguely correct. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to make sure those changes did take place. Yeah, there's control over there. Okay. Especially with the flexible mentality. Again, on flexible mentality with, or structureness or whatever. Oh, that's an interesting little tackle. Combined with a more defensive mentality like counter really does pull back the forwards as more than affecting anyone else. Based on this one great website that I saw that went through and analyzed all the mentality changes for all the positions based on all the combinations of flexibility with mentality. Really interesting. Wow, I just lost control of the screen there because an app wanted to do an update. My God, I got to change the settings on this computer. Chaplin sends it ahead to Ronan. Ronan, huge opportunity. He walks almost right up to the beautifully magenta goalkeeper there, right up almost into his face, and gets the shot by. See, there's not a lot of people watching here in the stands. I don't know why this isn't a bigger deal game. These are, in theory, I think. I don't know what the current position of Charlton is in the league right now, but I thought they were predicted to come in fourth. So presumably, this is a match between a couple of people who are probably a little higher up in the league, even though it's very early in the season. The header into header. Was that a header pass to Aribo? Oh my God, that could have really easily been a goal. Really, really surprised that it wasn't. I'll say, the big question too is whether or not Chaplin is playing better as an AF rather than F9. Possibly the other thing to consider is that the F9 might make a lot more sense if we are playing control, because we're pushing up a little bit more, because the false 9 is a little further back than the advanced forward. So if we are playing a little bit more defensively and all the forwards aren't quite as deep, then the false 9 may really be sitting quite a bit deeper, or closer to our end than we would like. Whereas if we go, and so we might want him to actually play as an advanced forward just to be a little bit more aggressive there. And on the flip side, if we're playing control and our forwards are pushing up a little bit further, then we might be more comfortable with him playing a false 9 role. It's sort of hitting the same kind of balance. These are other things to consider. And in fact, we might, on our tactic training, we might do exactly that with our setup. Because remember, so at that point, what's really happening more than anything is it's almost more focusing on the aggression of our two wingers, or two attacking wingers, would be the people most affected by the change there. And whether or not the center striker or the center attacking midfielder, it's sort of a weird middle role, he sort of stays a little bit more standard. It just balances a little bit more whether he's willing to dribble or do crazy passing to those those inside forwards. The other thing to consider is playing strikerless, right? Because so many of the strikes are actually coming from the wings. Is it better if this center guy becomes more of a shadow striker, which is in the advanced midfield position? I think that would be better if he had a lot more long ball shot, but a shadow striker while also sitting higher up the pitch could still hit that weird middle ground where it functions. So we're up 1-0 over here. I think what we're going to do at this point is I am going to switch back. Actually, do I stay control? Let's see. How are we feeling here? Possession still slightly in our favor. Not significantly so. And in fact, that's gone away a little bit. I feel like with 15-ish minutes, 15 to 20 minutes left, I think I will, in fact, return to a counter mentality, which we're more comfortable with. Try to lock down the ball a bit more. We do have 2 yellows over here. Let me lock in these changes, and then I guess I will. There we go. We'll take a look at the substitution here. Deslendez over here, who's been playing fairly good. He is getting a little bit tired. And if we're looking to sort of lock things down a bit more, flipping things over there might be very good. We could bring on Donahue. It's not a full rest. I don't know how much time we've got until our next game. How about we consider the people who are a little more rested? Ollie here is another potential striker option. So let's throw him in. Start to get a bit of a feel about how he's doing, perhaps. Nathan Thomas is a little further back. I'm tempted to take out Burgess, even though he's obviously been playing amazingly well. I'm always worried about leaving someone on who's got the yellow card, but I think it makes more sense to replace Walks over here. He's more tired. He hasn't been playing quite as strongly. Either that or Jack Whatmo, who's down at a 6.5 rating. Maybe replacing Jack makes more sense. Do I actually want to do all 3 subs right now? I got Adam May as well, who's a good potential for something. I think I'm training him up to maybe be a regista. So you know what? Let's give him that. If I recall correctly, he's a young guy with a lot of potential, and that I'm training up as our secondary or long-term regista. I think he's a young guy with high potential is the idea. Ronan, oh my God, that tackle into pass into shot. Ronan, free kick. What was that? Was that an offside in the end there with Ronan trying to keep the ball into play? My God, I can't believe that wasn't a score. That was beautiful passing. I guess it came down to a poor finish in the end, but good God, that was incredible. Really dynamic play. Whoa! Oh, thank you very much, Mr. McGee, for pulling that ball out of the air, because that, I think, was going to go in no matter what if that guy's head got on there. That was way, 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 way too dangerous. Very terrifying. There you go. Burgess does get it out wide. Good. That's a nice secure clearing. That's a pass advance with Hawkins, who's fairly speedy here. Does get the ball off as well. Shot on target. Didn't go in, but always appreciate those shots on target, especially since they do tend to force these corner kicks. Mr. Naismith over here does deliver it. It does get cleared, but O'Keefe keeps it in. Sends it over Ronan in the box. Too many bodies. Ronan takes the shot, but there was about 15 people between him and the goalkeeper. So that never really had a chance to make it in there. Although I'm not sure, other than like sort of having everyone pull back to sort of the almost a midfield and reset the play, I'm not sure there was another real option there. Big that was interesting. Big corner or cross, and it looked like one of my players almost headed it into the net. Hard to tell. Rowan gets his foot on it, clears it. Oh my God, clears it just wrong, giving them another corner as opposed to just a throw in. Still, it looks like nothing came of it. KK does get it up to Medivici. Oh my God, okay. I was like, why didn't the goalkeeper respond there? Because he was offside. Oh, the offsides always look so scary. Mostly because when it's offside, the defense tends to shut down while the offense still completes their play. And you're like, what's going on? Passing to Ronan, who does center it to Hawkins. Hawkins sends it wide, unfortunately. But I got to say, the vision, especially from, I guess it was Conan? Who's the vision from? I'm getting my... Conan. It's Connor Ronan, right? Yeah, we can just call him Conan. I love it. The vision from Conan there to see the window between 2 defenders... and or the positioning by Mr. Hawkins over here. Let's take a quick little gander at him. Oh, he's 25. He's not super young. He would prefer being a target man. Oh, he's incredibly tall. Incredibly tall. Still, I feel like a target man's not the right position for someone in our composition. Doesn't like playing as a false 9, though. That's bad for him. Advanced forward's better, and we do have it set to an advanced forward over here, so I guess that's going to have to be okay. We might want to stay centered around the advanced forward. Maybe the whole false 9 thing is bad over there. And May, yeah, is really not happy as a regista. 19 years old, though. Massive potential ability. So the question is, can you actually learn your way to become a pro regista? Regista over here, 10, 11, 12, 11. Yeah, I think we looked at this before. It's like he's double digits in everything that seems to be a relatively important thing for this role. So I think he will be able to do an excellent job there as we go forward. So the game's almost over. We're still leading by 1, which is, not the sort of thing you want to feel safe about. And something like that, okay, shot from a million miles away. Ooh, pushes it away. It is going to be another corner. Oh my God. You just need the edge of your seat. Oh, free kick to Portsmouth. Did someone get knocked down? I think they may have knocked down one of our defenders. We have no substitutions here. Looks like there's no real injuries. 4 extra minutes. Oh, come on. We could go to a full defense, but I don't think so. I think, we don't want to just dump the ball to their end and give up possession constantly or anything like that. We want to try to advance the ball forward like we normally do. They're on a big move here. A huge pass to Lapsy and a failed interception and kind of a bit of a stumble there to right in front of the net. I think that was Burgess getting the ball away, then walks, kicks it away completely to safety. It is going to be a throw-in, completely to safety. It's still a throw-in, but 2 minutes left. Ooh, bit of a tackle, but Aribo is able to pick it up. Kashi just takes a wild shot. It's going to be a goal kick. Well, hell, a gold kick for us. May to Desland. Desland sends it forward to Naismith, who is able to to keep it in, but I was going to say probably not do anything else. Going to get shut off for a throw-in. It's hard to believe that there's going to be much time for us to actually execute the play after the throw-in here, but no, there it is. Done and done. 1-0, you know, a hell of a nail-biter, including right up to the end there, but overall fairly pleased. Christian Burgess here with 3 key tackles, walks away with an 8.0 rating. Cam Naismith saying struggled to perform. I don't know, it feels like he had a few really good options, or few really good things that we saw in Cal. Keep calling him Kale. It's like, yes, that's right. He's a mustard green Naismith over here. Overall, not too unhappy at all. Players are generally happy. Morale is mostly good. Superb, excellent. Okay, there's some really good stuff going on over here. Edge narrow Charlton game. We received 10K for. Oh, that was not a league play. Oh, hold on. That was League One. Okay, yeah. So there's someone in my league, but it wasn't a league game. That was the Check-a-Trade Trophy Group 1. Okay, so we still have to do a lot of Group 1 plays. Who's in our group? Wait. Oh, Group I, not Group 1. It's like, hold on, Group 1, but these are all lettered. Group I, there it is. Only 4 of us in here. Fulham under 23s. Charlton Crawley. Who's Crawley? They are League 2, so in theory, easier. Oh, it scrolled. Like, where's the options? Charlton was that, and then we got the Fulhams who won over here. Premier, under 23, Premier Division 2. I don't really know how to rate this compared to ourselves. It's really hard to tell. Let's find someone with a high rating here. They might just be effectively on par with us, with a much higher potential. That actually might be stronger. That's really good. Valid at 31K? Really? That's it? I mean, he's only 13 or 18. I was thinking 31K, 13. Anyway, I don't know. Can we contract for value? Oh, yeah, see, 4.5 million, 2.6 million. They've got some high value players. Now, we've got a few, don't we? Let's take a quick look here. Contract. Yeah, 1.5, 1.2. Not too shabby. That's Stephen Henderson, our goalkeeper, on loan. Yeah, it's not even ours. And actually, that's it. If you look at our 3 top valued players, they're all on loan. It's not until you get to Christian Burgess over here, or Burgess, who's at 0.6 of a million, you have one of our own team members. But okay, so there you go. So I think that the Fulham under 23s, under 23s, that's probably, yeah, it's under 23s. It's plural. I think that on paper, they're a stronger team than we are. Still, it looks too highlighted. If it's anything like a lot of these other group stages, it's like first place guarantees advancement, and then second place. After that, it's like points, and there's a chance for advancement. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. You guys can pause and double check the rules. But I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in this video. A little bit longer than normal, but that's because we did a lot of talking about some of these other things we're going to see. Next match is at home against Rotherham. Rotherham? I keep wanting to say Rotterdam, but it's not. It's Rotherham. Rotherham. It's probably more like that. I don't know. And what are they like? They were just relegated from the championship. People keep saying, like, I get champions and championship confused, and that's 100% true. I use the wrong word all the time for those things. So they were just relegated, so presumably they're going to be a fairly strong competition here, but it'll be at home. So I'll be trying to show that. We'll be advancing time until then, and hopefully some of these transfers for some of these young guns will go through, because I think there's a lot of potential here. Looking forward to seeing how that works out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.